Today we are going to discuss about the arthritis in which the peripheral joints as well as the joints of axial skeleton, especially the spinous process, the spine, both are involved. This is called a separate group which is known as spondyloarthropathy. Spondyloarthropathy. This is common group. Spondylo is related to the spine. Axial skeleton, basically the spine, axial skeleton, as well as the peripheral joints, both are involved in this case. This is called spondyloarthropathy. These spondyloarthropathy are a group of disorders. Basically, they are seronegatives. What do you mean by seronegative? Absence of rheumatoid arthritis, absence of RA factor. In this group, spondyloarthropathy, if you are thinking or thought about this spondyloarthropathy, it means it is usually a seronegative arthritis. It is seronegative arthritis. What do you mean seronegative arthritis? Seronegative arthritis means absence of RA factor. RA factor absence. These groups are called spondyloarthropathy. Normally it includes ankylosing spondylitis, arthritis associated with inflammatory bowel disease like ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease. The arthritis is related with the inflammatory bowel. Problem is the inflammatory bowel disease. Bowel disease there. That led to different kinds of arthritis, especially knee joints. It is called an inflammatory bowel disease. Arthritic bowel disease is one. It's a Richter's syndrome. Along with arthritis, there is urethritis and uveitis. Conjunctivitis, uveitis. Eye, kidney, and joints. All three are involved. Joint, kidney, and eye. These three are involved. This is called Richter's syndrome. And fourth one, psoriasis. The skin disease, psoriasis. It is a skin disease, but it related with the arthritis also. Skin disease related with arthritis is psoriasis. The psoriatic arthritis. These four together known as spondyloarthropathy. They all are seronegatives. Specific features in all groups of spondyloarthropathy, either ankylosing spondylitis, psoriatic arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, or Richter's syndrome, you find enthesis. What do you mean by enthesis? Enthesitis? There is enthesis. What do you mean by enthesis? Where the ligament, tendon, fascia joints with bone is called enthesis. The place where the ligament, tendon and fascia joins with bone is called enthesis. And the inflammation at enthesis is called enthesitis. So in all these spondyloarthropathy, enthesitis is very common. So one point, enthesitis is common. Joints of axial as well as peripheral joints. It may develop iritis also, involvement of eye, These are uncommon in children. Basically, this is the problem of adult one, especially the male. Boys affected more than girls. So, all the spondyloarthropathy is more commonly found in the adult male. The problem of adult male. Normally, they have the family history. Normally, they have the family history. They all having HLA-B27 is positive. HLA-B27 positive. You find in all spondyloarthropathy, but especially it is ankylosing spondylitis, which is very common. But it may find in other spondyloarthropathy also. You may find HLA-B27. So these features are very important to know what, if you are talking of spondyloarthropathy, what is the problem? The exact joint as well as super joint. Enthesitis may be common. So peripheral, where the tendon, tarsal pain, some pain is there. This is not only at the joint, but different to the joints, different to the joint, calcaneal bursitis, tachycardic bursitis. So these are the areas where you can find that pain is there. So enthesitis, iritis, we will find iritis. This is rarely found in the children. This is only found in the. So these are the those are also in HLA-B27 is positive. So these figures you find. So you might think, oh, it might be a case of spondyloarthropathy. Now come to ankylosing spondylitis. Ankylosing spondylitis, as the name says, ankylosing, fusion, bony fusions. The bone gets fused, ankylosed. Joint get ankylosed, get fused. So this is called ankylosis, means fusion, either bony or fibrous. But ankylosis, the joint, loss of joint, there is no joint become fixed. So this is ankylosis. Ankylosis spondylitis. His name suggests the bone of a spines, articulation of a spine get ankylosed. So this is called ankylosing spondylitis. Ankylosing. The other name of this disease is rheumatoid spondylitis, Marie-Stempel disease. The other two names of same disease, either rheumatoid spondylitis or Marie-Stempel disease. This is a very chronic in nature. This disease is ankylosing spondylitis is a chronic in nature. It is chronic in nature, progressive. It progresses day by day from one joint to other joint. So it progresses. It is chronic in nature, progressive in nature, and it is inflammatory disease. It is inflammatory disease involving the articulation of the spine and adjacent soft tissue. Articulation of the spine means what are the joints there? You find there is synovial joint in the spine, the upper facet joint and lower facet joint, and the both joint, the facet joint. It's called facet joint. Facet joint. Facet joint. Facet joint. Facet joint in the both sides of the vertebra you find. So this is facet joint. So involvement of the facet joints and the other soft tissues. It involves the ligaments of the anterior longitudinal ligament, posterior longitudinal ligament. It involves the discs also. It involves the annulus fibrosus of disc also, because it involves it is inflammatory disease. It involves the adjacent soft tissue also. So it can involve the disc also. It can involve the spines also. So this is basically a joint disorder of progressive in nature, chronic progressive inflammatory, especially articulation of the spine, facet joints and distal space. In this case, SI joint, sacroiliac joint. This is here. This is sacrum. This is iliac. This is sacrum and iliac joint. This area, this sacroiliac joint, always involved in case of ankylosing spondylitis. If you are diagnosis and you are going to diagnose a case of ankylosing spondylitis, you must examine SI joint. SI joints almost always involved in ankylosing spondylitis. If SI joint is non-involved, it might not be a case of ankylosing spondylitis, it might be something else. So, involvement of SI joint is almost always, but it may be start with the SI joint or may not be start with joint. The other joint involves primarily and finally SI joint get involved. That may happen, but SI joint involvement is always in case of ankylosing spondylitis. Hip and shoulder. After ankylosing this SI joint, hip and shoulder is also commonly involved. It's not always involved, but commonly involved. Other than SI joint or spine and spine and articulation of the spine, which joint is get more involved? Hip and shoulder. If involvement of his then life is very, very critical. Peripheral joints are very less frequently involved. This wrist joint, knee joint, or ankle joint, or hands of the foot and hand. It's rarely involved. It may involve, but it's rare, very infrequent in ankylosing spondylitis. Usually, as I said, adult male, young male, especially third decades, 20 to 30. Usually, adult male is involved in this case and will be high association. If ankylosing spondylitis will be high association with HLA-B27. If HLA-B27 is positive, you can say it is the case of ankylosing spondylitis, otherwise proved. So these are the basic features of the ankylosing spondylitis. Ankylosing spondylitis. If the first joint, this is almost always SI joint is involved in this case. If you are dealing with the pathology, what are the pathology of this case? The earliest involvement is SI joint. SI joint is most commonly and earliestly involved. That is synovitis of the joint. That is synovitis of the joint, especially SI joint lower third. Lower third, you find SI joint. This is SI joint. Suppose this is SI joint. This is SI joint. So you will find lower third. So most will be involved. Lower third most will be involved. Earliest involvement is the lower third. The earliest joint is the SI joint involved. Synovitis is there. This is an inflammatory disease. This is an inflammatory, chronic, progressive inflammatory disease. So it involves synovitis develop, and later on it causes the bone erosion and destruction of the cartilage. First of it, synovium involved, and finally bone erosion and cartilage destruction is there. That lead to fibrosis and bony ankylosis. So bone gets fused. Bone gets fused to each other. Ankylosis, fusion of the bone. Fusion of the joint. No joint is there. So the joint gets fused. This is called ankylosis. So bony erosion, synovitis led to bone erosion, cartilage destruction, cartilage gets destroyed. This is the fibrosis, and finally bony ankylosis is there. Especially cartilaginous joint like intervertebral joint, mandibular joint, symphysis, all get involved in this process. Cartilage is destroyed and ankylosis is there. Especially you find erosion at the anterior corner of the vertebral body. But if you see the lateral view of the spine, you will see this bone in the vertebra is somewhat concave anteriorly. Vertebra is somewhat concave anteriorly. If you see vertebra from lateral side, you see some concavity is there. Some concavity is there in vertebra. You find normally. But if this anterior corner get destroyed, so it becomes straight. So this vertebra becomes a square of the spine. A squaring of the vertebra you find lateral view. This is due to erosion at the anterior corner of the vertebral bodies, causing their normal anterior concavity to be lost and that lead to a squaring of the vertebra. So squaring of the vertebra. A squaring of vertebra may lead to vertebra. You find in lateral views. Ossification of the outer layers of annulus fibrosus. This is called syndesmophytes. This produces syndesmophytes. Then in between the vertebra there is a disc space. The outer layer of the disc is called annulus fibrosus. If annulus fibrosus get involved in the lateral part, so what is happening? This is the bony formation is there. So this vertebra and uppermost vertebra get fused to each other by annulus fibrosus. So it becomes a bamboo. It gives like a bamboo spine. So what we feel is a bamboo spine due to ossification of this outer layer of annulus fibrosus, or this bone is called, the longitudinal bone is called, that is called syndesmophyte. Syndesmophyte. As already learned about synthesis, in synthesitis is there between joints around the muscle or some iliac center. You find in the iliac spine, you find in the muscle, bone, tendon, are involved in the bone. You find in the pain, some pain is there. So it's called synthesitis in this process. Well, importantly, focal medial necrosis. Focal medial necrosis at the root of aorta. Focal medial necrosis at the root of aorta. At the root of aorta, there is a focal medial necrosis that lead to dilatation of aorta. That lead to dilatation of aortic ring. That lead to aortic valve incompetence. That lead to aortic valve incompetence. If this fibrous tissues involve the median septum of the heart, and AV bundle, that it leads to conduction defect. In spite of this, because it involves the bone, joints, as well as the soft tissue. So this is very grave complication of this ankylosing spondylitis. It leads to aortic valve incompetence and conduction defects. So you must, if you are thinking about this case of ankylosing spondylitis, you must think about involvement of heart also. In case of ankylosing spondylitis, these ankylosing spondylitis usually affect the man of age 15 to 40. Usually, but female can involve, but usually the male involves between the 15 to 40. Rarely after 50. You find ankylosing spondylitis. It's rarely you find our first menstruation are after. So normally it between 15 to 40. Low back ache and the stiffness is common problem. So pain in back and stiff. The stiffness is very worst in morning. May have pain in the hip, butta, shoulder. These are the painful areas where pain may alternate from this side, previously this side, now this side. So pain may alternate from side to side, this side or that side, but seldom radiate below knee. This is very important. It alternate from side to side, but radiation is rarely you find below knee. Always it is up to knee. So pain is here, from here to here, and now pain is here to here, but never, or it's very rare. You can say it is very rare, it radiates below knee. If heat get involved, especially in 30%, is very worst thing in case of spondylolisthesis. If heat get involved, it get fused, so it's very disabling, very difficult to even the patient is unable to sit on the chair, so it is a very disabling problem. So hip involvement is very dangerous or very difficult. Anterior chest pain, you may have anterior chest pain because if the mandibular sterni get involved, if there is a costochondral junction, usually the costochondral junction or costosternal junction or involved. So this area, this joints get involved and lead to pain, or this is fibrosis and this is finally ankylosis of this costosternal joint and costochondral joint. So this lead to diminished chest expansion. This lead to diminished chest expansion and pain is there. But if you need inspiration and expression, it is usually below 2.5 centimeters. It is less than 2 centimeters. Then it is called. You can suspect it might be a case of ankylosing spondylitis. So anterior chest pain is there. Anterior chest pain there. You will find aortic valve incompetence 3% case and heart block. I have discussed. Acute anterior uveitis. I will get involved. Bilateral upper lobe fibrosis may happen and that lead to hemoptysis. And that lead to hemoptysis, amyloidosis, common problem fatigue, anemia, fever. It may develop Cauda-Equina syndrome also. These are the common manifestations you find in case of ankylosing spondylitis. Findings. You find in this case, if you press the joint, over the joint, you feel tenderness, especially SI joint. So you find tenderness over the SI joint. Pain on compression of the, if this is a pelvis, you compress it. This pelvis, but both, you find pain in the, if you compress it, then you find pain. If you distract the pelvis, distract the SI joints, you find pain. So this is called petrictus. Normally you have the lordosis here, lumbar lordosis. So it's a loss of lumbar lordosis is there. Loss of lumbar lordosis and increased thoracic kyphosis. The patient have not like this lordosis get less with straight and kyphosis. This increased thoracic kyphosis. So this stupid person. This patient will come just like this. This is straight, but this is bent. Thoracic kyphosis is there. Thoracic cage excursion. If you take the respiration and measure during the maximum expansion and the expiration, if you find, if there is normally it is 5 centimeter. If it is below 5 centimeter, it means there is some involvement of the vertebral joint or costosternal joints involvement. If it is less than 2.5 centimeter, it is diagnostic. It's already involved. It's less than 2.5, already involved. So thoracic cage involvement. This is also very diagnostic in case of ankylosing spondylitis. Thoracic cage from the chest. And one is Escobar's test. What is Escobar test? If their spine, your lumbar spine get involved, what will happen? The anterior flexion of lumbar is get lost. Anterior flexion of lumbar is get lost because of fibrosis, because of bamboo spine, loss of lordosis. So what is normally if you take the patient from the back, see the patient from the back and mark the L5 vertebra. Mark L5 vertebra. This is, suppose this is L5 vertebra. Take 10 centimeter above from this line, one line, draw a line 10 centimeter above the lumbar vertebra and 5 centimeter below the lumbar vertebra. If you mark this point, so it is 15 centimeter. If the patient, you tell the patient to flex, it normally gets flexed. So distance between these two lines increase by 5 centimeter. 5 centimeter. So 5 centimeter incremental of this line. This is normal anterior flexion of the lumbar spine, especially if the patient is below 50 years of age. It may be at least 5 centimeter or more than 5 centimeter. If the increase in this 15 centimeter get increased by 5 centimeter more, that's okay. If it is less than that, so our test is positive, or it means anterior flexion of the lumbar spine is get lost, or so why it is lost? So some problem is there, some sort of disease there. So you again it is a supplemental test for the ankylosing spondylitis. Diagnosis of ankylosing spondylitis is usually made on characteristic features, characteristic postures, bent over posture. Normally the patient will come like this, bent over posture, this dorsal calf process, increased dorsal calf process. So bent over posture is there, it's very critical. Rigid spine is rigid, exaggerated dorsal kyphosis and waddling legs. So these four are very important, especially a young man, maybe woman, but usually young man. HLB27 is positive in laboratory. Bilateral sacroiliac joints involvement and syndactyl fatigue, which is always seen on the X-ray, and SI joint, early SI joint can be seen by the MRI. If these things you find, it may be a case of ankylosing spondylitis.
Continue, sir. Continue. Stop.
Treatment of ankylosing spondylitis is not to cure the ankylosing spondylitis, it will cure the disease. Then what is the goal of our therapy? Goal of our therapy is to prevent or minimize the deformity of the spine. This is our goal of treatment. Prevent or minimize the deformity of the spine. If you can do this, it's very good. So that you should start to the pain you can use an SID. Usually any SID can use, but some people feel indomethacin is good. And secondly, DMRD, disease modifying drugs, or already you know this sulfasalazine or methotrexate, so DMRD. So start with this and this, DMRD or indomethacin. If not responded with this DMRD, then you go for biologics, TNF tumor necrosis factor alpha antagonist like etanercept, infliximab, golimumab, adalimumab or tocilizumab. So these are very promising drugs, but main thing is this is very costly. This is very costly drugs. So this is not useful for common man. It is not very useful for common man because of this high cost of this drug. So it is a very promising result they have now, but it's not sure it just cure the patient, but it will help the reducing the inflammation, and that if you reduce the inflammation, it means you reduce the deformity of the spine. So these drugs are useful today, but they are really costly drugs. And other thing is very important in this case is physiotherapy. Always train the good regular physiotherapy is very important treatment in case of ankylosing spondylitis. So if you do the exercises and try to stand straight, and so that you will prevent the deformity by physiotherapy, and try to sleep on the bed in prone position. So this physiotherapy in prone positioning will help you a lot in your patient. So So this two is very important. Lifelong physiotherapy and torn positioning is very helpful in ankylosing spondylitis. So always tell the patients to physiotherapy and torn positioning. If you can afford, if you can go for. So simple indomethacin. If you need, go for methotrexate. But if it is bit costly drug, before jumping to this, always go for physiotherapy and torn positioning along with these two. It's very important in this case of the Thank you.